Welcome back to our third and hopefully final video of the cabinet build. You just saw a clip of me sanding on this thing. I used the orbital sander and got everything sanded down the way we wanted. And I just finished using a damp towel and wiping the entire surface down all the way around so that there's no more dust on here. And now we're going to show you some staining. All right, so the materials we're going to be using to put the finish on this cabinet are a penetrating wood stain by Minwax. This just happens to be the one that I have used before. It's the 210B golden oak color. We're going to do 2 coats of this in an effort to get it a little bit darker than I have in the past with other projects. And we're going to finish with what I consider to be a typical polyurethane applied by hand with a foam brush. Probably do 2 coats of this. So let's start with the stain. All right, so before we do the top and the front, first of all, we're gonna use gloves so we don't get the stain all over our hands. And I found, usually I use a white t-shirt, but this happens to be a brown one. Just a cotton cloth to apply this. I have a partial container already here. And before we go and see exactly what this is gonna look like on the top and the front, what I like to do is take and put a little bit on a back side. We'll get an idea of what that's going to look like, and you can see, kind of get an idea what the color is going to look like here without actually putting it on the front. I already knew what this color is going to look like. I've stained red oak with the golden oak color before, so I know what this is going to turn out to be. But if you're ever wondering, you can buy a sample of this stuff, or you can pull the top off and try it out, and if it's not the color you want, take it back and get something different. In this case, I already know what I'm getting at, so let's go ahead and do the top. All right, so we're just gonna dip this in here, and I like to use the folded over cloth like this, and then we're just gonna apply this liberally because I want a dark color. The longer that you let the stain sit on the wood, the darker it will be. So we're not going to be shy about putting this on here because I want this to be a dark color. I'm not going to let it soak in clumps, or shouldn't say clumps, I should say drips. But we are going to apply nice and liberally. We're just going to work it in just like this. And as we go through here, we'll just keep working our way across and then down and across and down and across until the whole surface is done.
Daddy, it's cardboard.
So any spots, I see these little grains right here that don't have the stain in them. So I almost want to take that and just kind of work it in there a little bit.
You're afraid of the water. I'm not. Ew. What? It smells.
So this is what it looks like with 1 coat of the stain on. And if you can see down here, it's like a brighter color, and up here it's darker because it's like a stain. This is not the finish though, right?
This is the finished color that it'll be. The next coat of stain that I put on is not going to darken it up that much.
It's going to shine it.
It's polyurethane, right?
The polyurethane will darken it up, but the next coat of stain, it'll make it just a little bit darker is all.
Oh.
Wait your turn here. I'm going to have you do that section over there in just a minute.
Okay.
Okay guys, so we got one of the shelves, the top and both of the sides done, and stand with the first coat. And So yeah, we're doing pretty good here. We're working on the second shelf. Now we're doing the front here. Around here, up through here. You can pretty much see what we're doing. So after the first coat, this is what it looks like. And I think the second coat will make it a tiny bit darker. And then the third coat of
No third coat of stain. The third application will be polyurethane.
which
So we'll do one more coat of stain. Maybe. I'll see what it looks like. I'll do the top one more time. We'll see what it looks like, and then we'll start with the polyurethane. Alright guys, so I put the second coat of stain on yesterday, and earlier this morning I put the first layer of polyurethane on here. Now you're supposed to let the polyurethane, you're supposed to put it on in a very thin layer and then let it dry for about 4 hours. It's been about 4 hours now. It's just a little bit tacky, just ever so, I mean, it's definitely not wet, just a little tiny bit of tack. And then you're supposed to come in with a fine sandpaper. In our case, we're using a 0000 grade steel wool. And you're just supposed to rough the surface up. You're just supposed to come through and just kind of knock it down. Just take the shine off of it a little bit. Just enough to make that first coat of polyurethane be abrasive enough that the next coat will stick to it. So we're definitely not taking it all off. We're definitely not going right down into the stain. We're just taking the shine off just a little bit. And it's counterintuitive because we just spent a long time getting this thing the right stain color and the right level of shine, and everything's looking nice, and now we're just taking it all off. But this is how you do this. All right, we got Marcus over there stirring up the polyurethane for our second coat. And over here, we've got the first coat done, and I've got all of the surfaces sanded roughly. And we're going to vacuum all the little particles off here, wipe this down with a cloth, and put our second and final coat on. This will be our final coat. We're just putting it on nice and thin. It's about right now in the project when I wish I would have bought the spray, because you can buy this polyurethane in a spray. The problem with the spray that I found is you don't really get good control over your application. And the spray can, as far as cost goes, doesn't go nearly as far. It would take 2 spray cans to spray this, where when I'm done with this project, I'll have most of this can left over. All right guys, we got our last coat of polyurethane on here, and the cabinet is now finished. So we're gonna let this thing cure overnight, and by tomorrow morning, it'll be basically ready to go. So I have to do a quick mount on the back to get it to mount to the wall in the house where we're gonna keep it at, and we'll be putting this thing in place. So appreciate you watching this video. If you like our videos, click subscribe, share them with your friends, and make some comments. We'll get back with you. Thanks for watching.